All right, welcome everyone. If you're studying international business, you know the world isn't just a bunch of countries on a map, right? It's a massive, wide-open landscape of opportunity. So today, we're gearing up for an expedition. We're going to find out exactly what it takes to make your mark as a global entrepreneur.
So, let me ask you, have you ever dreamed of launching a brand that goes global? Something that's known everywhere? Yeah, I thought so. Well, you're in the right place. Think of this as your personal expedition guide. We're going to pack your bag with all the essential tools, maps, and even some survival stories, so you can navigate the incredible and, yeah, sometimes tricky terrain of international business.
Okay, let's get right into it. The reason we can even talk about this kind of expedition is because of one massive, powerful force: globalization. You've heard the term a million times, but what does it really mean? It's basically the engine that's connecting economies and cultures all over the planet, from Tokyo to Toronto. It's what lets a company like Toyota feel like it's everywhere at once. And for you, it means your potential customer base isn't just your city or your country, it's literally the entire globe.
All right, first things first. No explorer would ever set out without the right gear, and you're no different. Your gear? It's your analytical toolkit. Now, don't let the word analytical scare you. These aren't just boring theories from a textbook. These are the practical, hands-on tools you'll use to actually understand any new market you're thinking of entering.
And the first tool we're pulling out of the bag is probably the most important one: pastel analysis. Seriously, think of this as your compass. It's what keeps you from just wandering into a new country completely blind. It forces you to stop, look around, and scan the entire environment. The whole macro picture, way beyond just whether or not people will like your product.
So, pastel breaks down into 6 key areas. You've got political. Is the government stable? What are the trade policies like? Economic. Is the economy growing? What's the inflation doing? Then there's social. What are the cultural norms? What do people actually care about? Technological. What's the internet access like? And of course, environmental and legal factors. The real magic here, though, isn't just listing them. It's seeing how they all connect. A stable government might mean better trade deals. A growing economy means more people with money to spend. But if you ignore the local environmental laws, well, your expedition could be shut down before you even unpack.
Okay, so pastel gives us that big 30,000-foot view. It's the map of the terrain. But what about the people on that terrain, the local communities? Because let's be real, if you don't understand the local customs, you're not going to get very far. For that, we need a different tool. Think of it as our cultural field guide, Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions. This is a classic, and for good reason. It helps you decode all those unwritten social rules so you can actually connect with people on a human level.
And this is where the rubber really meets the road. Let's look at a real-world example: Austria versus Thailand. Take a look at power distance. Austria scores super low. This means they're all about flat hierarchies where challenging your boss is totally normal. It's rooted in a culture of independence. Now, flip over to Thailand, which has a high score. There, hierarchy is super important for social harmony. You'd show a lot of respect to your boss, and decisions flow from the top down. See the difference? And it's the same with individualism. An Austrian partner might be focused on what's in it for me, while a Thai partner is thinking about what's best for the group. This isn't just fun trivia, you guys. This stuff fundamentally changes how you negotiate, how you motivate a team, even how you design your marketing. It's absolutely crucial.
All right, so we've got our analytical gear packed. We know how to read the terrain and understand the locals. Now what? Well, now we have to choose our route. How are you actually going to enter this new market? The thing is, there's no single right path. It's more like a trail map with several different options, and each one has its own balance of risk versus control.
You could start with the easiest path: exporting. Super low risk, but you also don't have much control. Or you could try licensing or franchising. That's where you let a local partner use your brand name for a fee. Stepping it up, you could form a joint venture where you and a local company create a brand new business together. And then there's the big one: direct investment. This is you, all in, maybe building your own factory. You get total control, but you also take on all the risk. Which path is right for you? Well, that really depends on how much money you have and what you're trying to achieve.
You know, one of the best ways to learn is by looking at the explorers who came before us. Some made it to the summit, and some, well, they made some pretty big mistakes. So let's check out a few of these tales from the trail
and see what we can learn from the wins and losses of some absolute giants of business.
And this first story really hammers home a critical rule of survival. You either adapt to new technology or you become a fossil. I mean, look at Kodak. It's wild. They invented the first digital camera, but they were so scared it would kill their film sales that they basically hid it in a closet. They were clinging to the past. Now compare that to Huawei. They were all in on R&D, pushing 5G. And when they hit roadblocks, what did they do? They adapted and built their own operating system. One company embraced change, the other feared it. The results? Well, they couldn't be clearer.
But hey, it's not just about tech. It's about getting the culture right. Take McDonald's in India. They didn't just show up and say, here's a Big Mac. No way. They completely reinvented their menu to respect local religious beliefs. No beef, no pork. And they created stuff like the Makalu Tiki Burger, which became a massive hit. Then you have eBay in China. They just kind of plopped their standard US website down and expected it to work. They charged fees when their local rival was free, and they completely missed the boat on what Chinese consumers wanted. It's a perfect example of how even a behemoth can fail if they don't do their cultural homework.
So, what are the big lessons we can pull from these stories? It's pretty simple, really. First, you have to be flexible, because technology is always moving. Second, understanding the local culture isn't optional. It's your roadmap to connecting with customers. Third, a one-size-fits-all strategy is almost always a recipe for disaster. And finally, don't ever underestimate the power of a great local partner.
So, we're nearing the end of our expedition for today, but for you, the journey is really just getting started. And the thing is, the global landscape is changing faster than ever. So the big question is, what will it take to not just survive out there, but to actually thrive in the years to come?
So let's pack one last thing, your survival kit for the future. First up, embrace technology. I'm talking AI, cloud computing. This is your new engine for efficiency. Next, you have to champion sustainability. This isn't just a buzzword anymore, it's a core part of your company's DNA. Third, go borderless. E-commerce has blown the doors wide open. And finally, and this is a really cool one, you need to be anti-fragile. That's a term from the author Nassim Taleb, and it means building a business that doesn't just survive shocks and chaos, it actually gets stronger from them. Kind of like how a muscle tears a little when you work out, only to grow back stronger. That's the goal.
So there you have it. We've gone over the map, we've packed the tools, and we've learned from the journeys of others. You now have a solid foundation to start analyzing and building a strategy for literally any market on Earth. So, the only real question left is the one that only you can answer. As you head out on your own expedition, what unique mark are you going to make on the global stage?